This is the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles.
It's the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles, brought to you by Athletic Greens, your one-stop shopping for 75 high-quality vitamins to help you start your day right. We'll have another installment of BSJ Film Room in a bit. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. But let's start with the win, Greg. Yes, it was a win. It was a victory. How'd they do it? And really, at the end of the day, when you watch this back, how even was the game on Sunday?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty even. I thought the Patriots were certainly a little bit more potent on offense. I think they left a lot of plays on the field, which we will definitely touch on as we talk. But when it came down to it, each team muffed a punt. Miles Bryant had a brain fart where he muffed it at about the 5-yard line. It goes bounding into the end zone, and luckily for the Patriots, the rule is if you don't, not for the Patriots, but just in general. If you muff it within field of play, you don't have possession, then you go in, it's a touchback. Gunnar Olszewski, not only did he have the ball go off his face mask, but the Steelers didn't have enough. They had 10 guys on the field to start the play. I mean, that's just bad football. And it sets up the game-winning score, gives the Patriots the ball at the 10-yard line, gives them a layup touchdown. The Patriots made one big play down the field, the Nelson Agholor jump ball, which had according to ESPN, had a 26% probability. So fortunate there that Nelson Agholor made a tremendous play and the Steelers defensive back made a bad play. You put all that stuff together and the Patriots escape Pittsburgh with a desperately needed 3-point victory. It's not going to go in the Louvre or anything like that as far as victories go, but certainly with what's gone on probably since January with this team, since getting the floor wiped with them by the Bills in the playoff game, they needed this like crossing the desert and finding a drink of water. I mean, they were dying. They had to get this win. If they didn't, it would have been demoralizing. And who knows what would have happened? But hey, now they're 1-1, and hope persists.
It was obviously a tight victory on the road. We both had them winning by 3 to 6 points, so I don't think it was a shocker that it was a close game. I didn't really see either team being able to stretch the lead, so to speak, and win this by 10 to 14. But when you watch the film, Greg, when you watch the game, did the coaches, because coaching obviously is going to be a running theme this season, did the coaches set up their team as good as they could have to maybe win this game by more than 3 points?
I thought so. I thought that this was, as far as offensive approach, offensive execution, specific play calling, adjustments, this was a dramatic improvement over week one. Of course, I don't know how much worse it could have gotten after week one, but to me, they went from being a mess against Miami to they actually looked like a competent NFL offense. And I thought that, while at the end of the day, the stats aren't going to wow anybody or anything like that with what the Patriots did in this game, including the, 17 points that they scored. But it was just a much more professional operation. And to me, and I don't have any direct knowledge of this, but just observing the team this summer, observing them in week one, observing them in the past, to me, this reeked of a game where Bill Belichick for the entire week and on game day got hugely involved in the offensive operation. He saw the film after week one. He's like, holy cow, we can't do this. And so I think from soup to nuts, from game planning to in-game coaching, adjustments, play calling, I think Bill Belichick was hugely involved with what happened, and it made a huge improvement.
Yeah, he was more involved with Mac Jones on the sidelines, it seemed like. And, of course, you saw them kind of revert to their old-school run game more than the zone scheme runs that we had been talking about during the preseason. So maybe there was a little bit, hey, guys, we went a little too far on some of this stuff. Let's kind of bring it back in and do what we know we can do well. And, when you look at that final drive, which I'm sure we'll get into, I thought that was so key for this offense to kind of build some belief at the end of that football game to, everybody knew what they were going to do and they were still able to do it at a high level, run the football down the Steelers' throats. I thought that was good. And we also, look, I'm not telling you Matt Patricia is going to be great, but we do have to remember he's new to this. And that's not on Patricia. That's on Belichick. It's not like Patricia walked in and said, hey, I want to call the offensive plays. So it's going to take him some time, which, isn't what you want at the NFL level, but maybe he will get into a little bit better of a groove as a play caller, through the first month and a half. I'm not preaching patience for the whole year, but maybe it'll take him some time. And once he finds that, he'll get going a little.
Yeah. And germane to this discussion about the coaching and the approach this week is, and also with Patricia is, look, I don't think that Bill, to start this whole thing, put Matt in a very good position, mostly because of how many different hats he asked him to wear, which was he was probably still helping out with the front office. Then you get into being the coordinator, the play caller, and also coaching the offensive line. And one of the big adjustments in this game, and I think it made a huge impact. So I think one of the huge things that they did in this game, and I thought it made a tremendous impact as far as, we saw a bunch of free rushers and problems with the offensive line. What they did in this game was Billy Yates, the assistant offensive line coach, who all through the preseason, through the first game, would spend the first half upstairs in the coach's booth. Then he would come down in the second half thinking that, all right, any wrinkles that we have to adjust to, like they've already declared themselves in the first half. They're not really going to come out with something new where we need to see it from above and all that stuff. So I think that was the approach. I think that the Patriots, one of the adjustments after week one was, look, we need to help our guys more. And what was happening was Matt Patricia would get done and he'd have to do his offensive coordinator duties and then go over to the offensive line, and you'd have players like David Andrews and James Ferentz really sort of tutoring some of the offensive linemen, and that's just not good enough. This is one of my biggest questions with this whole operation the entire time was, how the hell is Matt Patricia going to coordinate the offense, call the plays, think about what he's going to call, what he's going to set up next drive, and do the adjustments with the offensive line, let alone what if there's a short possession where it's only like 2 plays and he doesn't have time to get to the offensive line? So this time, this game, they made a huge adjustment where they brought Billy Yates down from the start. So he basically coached the offensive line. Yes, Matt Patricia was involved, but he was also able to be involved now with other position groups and go around to them and talk to them. Hey, this is what we're going to do. I'd like you to see you do this better. And he could also, and this is an underrated thing, he could also at times look Mac Jones in the eye and talk about, hey, this is what I'm thinking about next series. What do you think about it? Yep. That is huge. And it's these defensive guys who haven't been on the offensive side, don't know the importance of just looking your quarterback in the eye and seeing his conviction. Does he feel strongly about this? Does he not? Is he lying to me? That sort of thing. And then Bill was also involved with the quarterback. So basically it looked like, to me, Bill was coaching the quarterbacks along with Joe Judge, mostly Bill. Billy Yates had the offensive line, and Matt Patricia was being an offensive coordinator. To me, I thought that made a humongous difference in this game, allowed the Patriots to set up what they were going to do, come up with some adjustments that sort of took the Steelers by surprise, including on the final drive. And this is just, it looked like a real NFL offensive operation. And look, it's better late than never. I mean, it shouldn't have come to this, but at least they got here in week 2, and it's not like week 12 and they're like 2-10 or something like that. At least they're here. Let's see what happens now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that just on the basic fundamental level, it makes sense. And why would you not do this from day one? Why would not Yates be there? And I know you just explained, like, seeing it from bird's eye view and looking for wrinkles, but it just seems so obvious and so full of common sense where, Bill Belichick, known as the greatest coach of all time, didn't have this kind of strategically planned out from game 1. Weird, but they made the adjustments. Game 2 was better. I am starting to see some things too, Greg. There are people on Twitter, and I was one of them on Sunday, criticizing Mac Jones for his play. What I don't want us to do, and I think some fans will do this, is just blame everything on the coaching, right? Like,
Right.
oh, they're not doing this right. They're not doing that right. And of course, Mac Jones has everybody in his ear and blah, blah. There are some things that you see on Sunday that were very unlike the Mac Jones we saw in his rookie season. I don't think we can blame everything on the coaching. We got to start looking at Mac. And I thought Mac needed to play better on Sunday, if not much better. What'd you see from the quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And look, I am one of these people that up until this point, I was ready to give Mac Jones, or I did give Mac Jones the benefit of the doubt, because I didn't think the operation was settled enough around him. And look, there might have been some carryover from week one, and he was under a tremendous amount of pressure, especially in the first half in this game. It didn't look like it. He wasn't hit a whole lot. He wasn't sacked. But that doesn't mean that a quarterback's not feeling pressure. This is why I tabulate it myself. My numbers are different than, say, PFF, but I think my numbers are consistent. And I look at, was the quarterback affected on the play? And I had him getting pressured 59% in the first half. The only real one that you remember is he got blasted. Trent Brown made a mistake, his only mistake in this game, to my eyes, on the interception, and Mac Jones got blasted when he delivered it, and that was really the only hit that he took in the first half. But I thought for the game he got pressured 42.5% of the time, which is a lot. It's the most that I've charted in his young career, and that definitely has an effect. And it also has an effect if you don't have a lot of confidence in the line, but also what you're doing play wise, execution, things like that. And I did not blame Mac in week one for not playing his best. I thought a lot of it was on the operation. It was sloppy.
Right.
The play calling wasn't very good. The execution wasn't very good. But this game was different. And I thought that the Patriots did a good job. I thought that Matt Patricia did a good job. There were some plays that were definitely schemed up that Mac should have stayed with more. He had good protection. He didn't do it. Sometimes he just flat out missed open guys, including like little Jordan Humphrey was wide open on a called bang action play, completely wide open, and Mac Jones didn't see him and ends up and then Jacoby Myers was open initially on the throw where Mac almost got picked off, where Sutton dropped the interception. There were multiple plays like that. And at the end of the day, and look, I don't want to dismiss that he might still be dealing with whatever the back injury he sustained against Miami, and maybe he's a little gun shy. I understand that. But at the end of the day, I pointed out, and I did a whole column on this at BSJ. If people want to go check it out, where I take the coach's film, I talk you through it, I explain it, what I saw. And to me, I had 8 crucial plays that Mac either missed open receivers, threw too quickly, just was all out, just too panicky. And to me, he needs to be, if this team's going to go anywhere this year, he's got to be a lot better. He needs to stop. I don't know if he's feeling sorry for himself about the offense or what's going on, but if they're going to be this competent in their operation going forward, Mac needs to knock it off. He needs to play tougher in the pocket, and he needs to deliver the ball when he's supposed to.
Yeah, not everything is on the coaching. Mac needs to take some responsibility and accountability for some of the things that we saw on Sunday. The almost interception was inexcusable. It's just an awful play, awful decision, awful throw. There was a third down late in the game where he had both Myers and Humphrey wide open, and he missed them. He threw to Jonnu in like double coverage underneath, little check down. That was a big time mistake. And when we talk about Mac Jones, we don't talk about his electric skill set. We talk about his football IQ. We talk about his vision, his operating system in between the ears, right? And the fact that he's not careless. He takes care of the football. And we've seen in the first 2 weeks that hasn't been the case. The IQ hasn't been as high. The vision and operating system has not been as good. And he's been careless with the football a few too many times. He's got to tighten up. He's got to play better. You talked about the pressures in the first half, Greg. Overall, how'd you think the offensive line played with the changes, Yates being down on the sidelines and all that?
Overall, pretty well. I mean, I thought that Isaiah Wynn gave up a ton of pressure in this game, almost all of it in the first half. He only gave up one hurry in the second half. So maybe they made some adjustments there. I thought Trent Brown had a tremendous bounce back game after he really struggled against the Dolphins. You had to question, does he even give a crap anymore? Is he going to quit on this team? I think the answer to that is a resounding no after the way he's played in this game. So credit to Trent Brown for being a pro and bouncing back and playing really strong. Other than that one mental error that he had on the interception, I had him for a clean sheet. Besides that, I thought David Andrews did a nice job. Owenu did a nice job. Cole Strange, look, you're going to get a divergence of opinion on this, and I'm sure people are out there be like, Bedard hates Cole Strange. He hated the pick. Like, I never hated Cole Strange, the player. I thought it was a reach in the first round. I would have rather seen them do something different, but I am on record from the get-go as saying, like, Cole Strange has a lot of talent. I'm not sure when it's going to arrive. It might even be as a center down the line, but he's going to play for a long time in this league. If you want to spend a first-round pick on that, that's fine. I have nothing against Cole Strange. But to me, I had Cole Strange, and also people are going to go on Twitter and see some Twitter people put out 2 or 3 plays against Cole Strange against Cam Hayward and say, like, look at Cole Strange, he's awesome. Yeah, well, there's 54 other plays in the game. And to me, Cole Strange was my lowest rated Patriots offensive lineman. I didn't think he was bad in this game, just struggled with, some stuff, a little bit sloppy here and there, gave up some pressure, struggled a little bit in the running game. He didn't see Hayward as much in this game as we anticipated. Bill Belichick talked about this. Mike Tomlin talked about it. Because TJ Watt was out of the game, they elected to move Hayward from defensive tackle to defensive end to sort of make up for not having TJ Watt. They did get matched up later in the game, especially on the last drive, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. But, and it's not just me. PFF also had Cole Strange as the Patriots, by far, their lowest rated offensive lineman in this game. And so, but overall, I thought it was definitely good enough to win. The pressure was a bit of an issue. Some of it was just, the guy Highsmith is a really good player. Number 50, showed a lot of spunk in the rush game. Hayward did Hayward things in this game. So not a terrible game from the offensive line. I thought they were solid overall. Just, a good day for them.
Defensively, where's this team at right now?
Hard to tell off this game, Nick. I mean, I think. Look, I'm moderately confident considering what they did against the Dolphins, and I'm not going to say, I'm not going to do the whataboutisms. Oh, well, they held the Dolphins to whatever points they had in the first game, 24, 13, something like that. 13, yeah. And look what the Dolphins did against the Ravens. First of all, I haven't watched that film yet, but from what I hear, the Ravens were just god-awful, horrendous in the second half on defense and just gave up way too many big plays. But going off the Dolphins game and now this game, I think we can be pretty confident in saying that the Patriots are playing Patriots defense. They're not going to give up a lot of big plays. They're going to be opportunistic on defense, get a turnover here and there. And I would say they're doing a better job against the run than they did a year ago, which is good and really good news going into the Ravens game. And they're solid overall. How good they are, hard to tell at this point. Definitely off of this game, I think, like we talked about going in, the Steelers' offense is horrendous in coordination. They have a horrendous quarterback who doesn't have much guts to look down the field. All of that played right into the hands of the Patriots, and they were able to play well enough on defense. You don't like giving up a 80-yard drive to Mitch Trubisky in about 2.5 minutes, but it is what it is. Sometimes that's dictated by the situation in the game. But I thought overall, they're a good, solid unit. We're not sure of what their ceiling is yet.
That 80-yard drive, Judon sat out a lot of that drive. I'm not sure why, but he was on the sidelines for most of that drive, which was interesting to me. But defensively, look, I think they've been good. You can only play who you can play on the schedule, right? And I think they've been better against the run, like you said, Greg. I think they've gotten better pass rush than I expected without having to blitz a lot. I think the defensive line's played pretty well. and they haven't given up big plays. And I think this is what we're seeing now across the league. And Belichick has slowly transitioned into this the last couple of years, but more zone. They're playing a lot more zone in that secondary. And that's what teams across the league are playing now. They don't want to play a lot of man because they're afraid of the movement and misdirection pre-snap. And all of a sudden, one guy blows a coverage, and the next thing you know, I think that happened with Baltimore on Sunday against Miami. You blow a couple of coverages, Tyreek Hill beats you over the top, and now all of a sudden it's a different game in the last few minutes. So they're playing more zone. They're not giving up a lot of big plays. And, if that's what this defense has to do, that's what they have to do. You mentioned it. It will be a much tougher assignment coming up this weekend with Lamar Jackson. And when we talk about run defense and we talk about team speed and sideline to sideline at the second level, guys like Mac Wilson, can they kind of change this defense against a really good running game and a really good running quarterback? We'll find that out this weekend. So that's the next step. That's the next progression. Before we get to the film room, Greg, tell our friends about Athletic Greens.
I started taking AG1 from Athletic Greens because I wanted to make sure I was getting all the vitamins and nutritional supplements I needed in one place. I hated buying all those different pills, and just to make sure I was getting what I needed. Now I've been on it for 2 months and I love it. It doesn't taste like it's super healthy. I know you hear green juice and you're like, bleh. No. Like this stuff, it actually tastes good. It has kind of a mild tropical taste, a little minty, and I actually look forward to it each morning. So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced ingredients, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all the things you're looking for. I take it first thing in the morning. It's now part of my morning routine, and I'd be lost without it. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills, supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Bedard. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Bedard to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Let's jump into the BSJ Film Room. Greg usually includes film in his game day column, 3 coaches' film plays on Monday, more in his comprehensive game review on Tuesday, more breaking down the next opponent, et cetera, et cetera. You cannot get this anywhere else, and it's well worth the $39.99. Let's start, Greg, with the Mac Jones interception. Some may ask, Greg, if coaches played a role in this pick, or was this all on Mr. Jones?
So, yeah, I've heard a lot. There's been a lot of conversation in New England about, and look, Max brought some of this on himself by some of his post-game quotes where he says, like, that's the philosophy that we have now, or like, this is what we want to do. And so, I don't think Mac loves it. I do think it's a little excuse making, and let's use this play as an example. 3rd and 5 on the 44 towards the end of the first quarter. So the Patriots come out, they are in shotgun spread. They used only 11 personnel in this game. To Mac's left, which is the short side of the field, you have Hunter Henry, you have Ramondre Stevenson in the backfield with Mac. To his right, you have Devontae Parker in the slot, Jacoby Myers in the middle position, the number 2 position, and Nelson Aguilar deep on this play. Now, what's key about this is that watching the Steelers, so right now the Steelers have 34, the deep safety, I think that's Edmonds, doesn't really matter. They are showing, and he's walking towards the middle of the field before the snap. Max checking it out. So right now it looks like it could be some sort of cover 3 deep with 1 deep safety and cornerbacks that don't let the receiver get deep. Okay, so that's what Mac is probably thinking. They're also showing possible slot blitz off the corner before the snap. And so if the Steelers are coming with pressure, which they did not do a lot of in this game, It looks like it's going to be some sort of single high safety, either cover 3 or man. Mac's not sure, but he's basically watching the off safety right here to give an indication after the snap. If he drops back, that means that it's split safeties, and it could be it's some sort of cover 2, Tampa 2, cover 2, what have you. So Mac should be reading this, the strong safety, the safety that's closer to the line of scrimmage. Let's watch him after the snap. He bails out. So now Mac should know that the Steelers are going to be in 2 deep safety, and now he doesn't see this, but the middle linebacker now is very deep. He's eyeing Devontae Parker from the slot. This is Tampa 2 coverage because in Tampa 2, the safeties get very wide, and the middle linebacker, you need an athletic one to really do it. Think of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the day with Derek Brooks. He has to carry the middle of the field. He gets the middle third of the field, basically. So against Tampa, what you're looking for is against cover 2, you're looking for where Hunter Henry is on the left side of the field. There's a void here. There's a void in the middle of the field here, and there's a void over here in the side along the right sideline. So, but what happens here is a couple of things, and we'll see the pressure because Mac Jones is under a tremendous amount of pressure. Trent Brown misses his block. He knows he's going to get blasted. So Mac, basically, when he decides to throw it, Devontae Parker is covered by the middle linebacker. Jacoby Myers is trying to make an in cut, and Mac basically just throws it up for grabs. And it hangs up way in the air. The safety's is able to come over the top and pick him off. Now, one thing I want you to watch, ideally, if Mac Jones has time here, then Devontae Parker clears out, and this is good design. This is a beater against cover 2. Devontae Parker goes vertical, carries the middle linebacker. Jacoby Myers comes on an in cut, and he's wide open in the middle of the field. But Mac doesn't have time to get to that. If you're going to throw it up to anybody on this play, you'd rather it be Myers because there's less traffic around him. But so it's not a design shot play to Devontae Parker. It's a panic throw. I don't blame Mac all that much on this. I don't like that he just threw it up for grabs in the middle of the field. That's not where I would have thrown it up for grabs. But we'll show you the end zone view where you see what happens with Trent Brown, which is Highsmith fakes like he's going to go into coverage. Trent Brown forgets about him, now looks inside to help against Cam Hayward. And now Highsmith comes and Brown doesn't see him. Mac knows at this point, he just saw Highsmith. He knows he's about to get blasted. He needs to do something with the ball. He throws off his back foot, just flicks it out there. He did this a lot in this game, hangs up in the air, and it's got no chance. Look, I don't blame him for getting rid of it. He got blasted, but he's got to do something else with the ball than just throw it up to Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's like an all-pro.
All right, next play. The play that, as you deemed, got away. Let's look at the play that got away.
Yes. Let me, I just need to figure out where that play is because I got to fast forward a little bit. Hang on a second. So, but again, as Greg looks for this next play, that last play that he just broke down for everybody, that is a perfect example of, hey, the coaches could draw up the right play against the right defense. You've got the, Tampa 2 beater, as Greg said, and it's going to work. But Trent Brown blows his assignment up front. Mac gets hurried. He gets panicked, and he tosses it up for grabs. So, that's not necessarily on the play call, right? It's not on the play call. Matt Patricia called the right play against that defense. And if Mac has an extra second or so, it's probably a gigantic gain as long as he makes the throw to Jacoby Myers and they complete that play. So, that's an example when we talk about it's not just watch the game and if a play doesn't work, that's on Matt Patricia. That's lazy. That's a lazy narrative. You've got to look at the play and see what happened, what went wrong. And in that play that Greg just drew up, what went wrong was Trent Brown up front and Mac felt hurried. And so that was the issue on that play. Hang on one second.
All right. For the audio people here, Greg is still trying to search for the play that got away. This play got away from Mac, and it's getting away from Greg right now as we look for it.
Okay, I found it. So it's right after the Trubisky interception. The Patriots decide, okay, we're going to come out. We're going to try to go for a big play, and they actually use play action. This is an old Patriot staple. It's the bang action. They run some sort of run action to get the linebackers to bite. What they're going to do is, and Max under center, Ramondre Stevenson is the lone guy. Parker is ex-ISO to the left. You have Tripp sort of to the right with Jonnu Smith, Lil Jordan Humphrey, and Jacoby Myers. Smith comes in motion, but now he's going to come across. It's sort of like a counter. Smith is going to come into the hole by right between left tackle and left guard, like he's going to block. Both linebackers bite, play action, and they forget about Lil Jordan Humphrey, who is completely wide open in the middle of the field. No one is even there. Mac does not see him for whatever reason. I don't know if these guys are he can't see over the top of them. He's still wide open. And Mac ends up throwing a little dinker to Ramondre Stevenson. You'll see it from the end zone. Same sort of thing. Here's Humphrey.
My goodness.
On the right.
Wide open.
You get exactly what you want here. This is, all right, we're going to go for it. Fake the run. Good, hard run action. Everybody bites. Both linebackers bite. And Lil Jordan is
Mac has to see that.
Wide open.
Mac has to see that. Wow.
Yeah.
Again, perfect play call, great play call. Everybody executed the play other than Mac Jones.
Yeah, it's there were multiple plays like that, and let me I just wanted to point out, we don't have time to get to it, but the final third down on defense from Matt Judon, and you can go on to BSJ. Yeah. I broke down this play as part of my 3 plays to a W. I do that every Monday, whether it's an L or W. I break down 3 plays with the coach's film. Matthew Judon on the final play when he broke up that pass, he's not actually supposed to be in coverage against that running back. It's supposed to be Juwan Bentley, but because Matthew Judon realized there was so much going on at the line of scrimmage that Bentley wasn't going to be able to get over, Judon decided to take it upon himself to carry the running back down the field. And that's the difference between a pass breakup, and if Judon doesn't do that, you're talking about like a 50-yard play down the sideline on a wheel route to the running back. So tremendous play by Matthew Judon.
Fantastic stuff. Judon's been good so far this year. Let's do the fastest version of 3 up, 3 down that we can do, starting with 3 up, Greg.
Matthew Judon. I thought he was dominant in the game. He's the Patriots' best player. Closed out the game with a tremendous play, a heads-up play, one that I saw him blow a few times last year. He has learned those lessons. Tremendous job by him.
Yeah, he's been really good. Nelson Aguilar. Showed up big time, made the catch in the game. Of course, everyone knows which one I'm talking about. His best game to me as a Patriot so far. And, if he can build on that, that's great for Mac Jones in this offense.
Yeah, Aguilar was my number 2, and my number 3 was Trent Brown. I had him for just 1 miscue in this game. It was huge. He played a big role in, closing out the game with the run down the stretch where they grinded it out, which was huge. Hopefully they found their identity on that drive, and Trent Brown was a big part of that.
I had Judon as my number 2, and I'll go with Christian Barmore as my number 3. He was really quiet in game 1 against Miami. Thought he showed up multiple times here on that defensive line for the Patriots. And if they can get Barmore going like we expect them to, the way Judon's playing, the way Wise is playing, Greg, this defensive line might be better than we thought it was going to be. 3 down.
Yeah, I'll give you all 3 of mine. Number 1, Jake Bailey. I thought that he had 2 punts that went for touchbacks when he could have pinned the Steelers deep. He did do it a couple times, but he completely blew it. He had a 31.5 net average in this game. That's horrendous. And they gave him a contract extension. In a game like this, they need him to be the best punter on the field, and he wasn't in this game. Mac Jones, we talked about. I did not think he played well enough for what he was given in this game. And also Jalen Mills. I thought he kind of went through the motions in this game. I don't know if he's hurt or what, but and they were definitely playing over the top of all these guys. I get it. And so they probably didn't want to risk a big play, but he could have been a little bit better in this game.
I'll throw one more name in there. Devontae Parker. What the hell is going on? They don't even look like they're on the same page, he and Mac Jones. It's all over the place. And Parker has to be better quick, because if not, man, if Thornton can get healthy, Parker might slide down the depth chart even further. He has not been nearly good enough. He's got to get his ass going. BSJ member question of the day, quickly from Pat's Jam Greg. Basically, what's up with the tight ends?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think that as far as Jonnu Smith, look, anything that you thought he was going to be, like taking another leap this season, like this is just, it's not who he is. He doesn't go down the field. He's a naked bootleg type of guy, a reverse, do a couple things, dump it down to him, breaks a couple tackles. That's about what he's going to do. The Hunter Henry thing is a freaking mystery to me. There are routes, especially on the first drive of this game, where you look at the coverage, and a year ago, I would be confident in saying, why is Hunter Henry going that way? Like when a cornerback when he's running down the field and on his left is a cornerback or a safety, and he runs into that coverage, a year ago, he would never do that. He would break to the right according to the leverage of the defense. Now he doesn't do that. Have they taken away those controls for the receivers? And I also think it's part of the philosophy where, when they get into the red zone, freaking look for Hunter Henry first. Like, stop throwing to Damian Harris in the flat, for crying out loud. I'm sick of watching it. It doesn't work. I'm sure it'll work this week, and people will be like, Bedard, you're an idiot. How about Damian Harris? How about this? How about first play and the goal to go, run play action to Hunter Henry, please? Sort of like the Steelers did with Freiermuth against Adrian Phillips. Like, they singled him up. They ran a running back underneath to free up Freiermuth. And guess what? Adrian Phillips didn't have a chance against that big moose. The Patriots can do the same thing with Hunter Henry, and that they're not using him is a freaking disgrace.
It infuriates me. They're wasting tons of money on the tight end position and getting no production out of them. Wake up, get them going. And if that's what Jonnu can do, then dump off some passes to him a few times a game and let him do his magic with the yak. It's ridiculous. He's Greg, I'm Nick. Thanks to Athletic Greens. We're back on Thursday later this week to preview the Baltimore Ravens coming to Foxborough. Till then, be good, be healthy, be safe. It's the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cavils.